In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I've been able to obtain over $300,000 at 0% interest for not just one of my LLCs, but for all of the LLCs that I've got set up. So I'm going to be breaking that down in a very simple process that if you watch this video until the end, there's no reason why you're not going to get at least one of your business funded and start scaling at another level. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, just so you guys know, my first business, let's just give it this name. I'm going to call it SB, Smartphone Billions. This was the company that I got started back in 2023. Now, when I started this process, it was about 3 to 4 years ago when I started getting funding. So I had SB. This was the company that I founded in 2023. Excuse my handwriting. Then I also had PA, which is another one of my LLCs that I had. Now this one I started back in 2021. So this one had some age. So these are the first two corps that I started off with. This one was a California LLC and SB was a Florida LLC. So when I started getting funding for both of these businesses, it was in 2023. So when this business was brand new and when this business was 2 years old. So the first banks that I went to with both businesses, we went to Chase, but we were doing it all wrong because we didn't have the strategies that we have today. So I took both of these to Chase, and for Chase, I got PA. We got 20K from Chase for PA. And then for SB, we got 15K. Now, here's some of the things we did wrong. So when you go to this bank, you'll be able to maximize your approval. So some things we didn't have correct when we did this the first time. No business bank account. So I didn't establish a relationship with the bank before I tried to get funding. And I didn't have a business bank account for either business, not the SB business or the PA business. So the only reason why we were able to get these kind of limits is because I had a decent credit score and we understood the data points that the banks were looking for at the time. But that was only half the equation. So we're already up 35,000 by just going to one bank, Chase Bank. Then after Chase Bank, we went to Bank of America. Same thing. Both businesses, PA, SB. We tried to get both of them funded. SB, we were able to get $3,500. And then for PA, we were able to get $7,500. Same thing. We didn't have a business bank account established. No biz bank account. So we were just leveraging bankers. So to get my first round of funding, I had bankers at Bank of America, and we also had a banker at Chase. So we leveraged bankers to be able to just apply without having to go online and apply there. So as you can see, we got another 11,000. So now we're at what, 46,000 so far, just going into two banks. Another bank that we went to was American Express, Amex. Now, for some reason, they only approved one of the businesses. So they only approved the PA business, which was older, 2 years, and they approved this one for 10,000. So I was able to get 10K from American Express. So another 10K, we're at 56,000 with just two of my LLCs. And this isn't having to show any bank statements, so no tax returns, no profit and loss statements, nothing. All I had to do was leverage my personal credit score and literally start applying. But as you guys can see, I'm showing you some of the things we did wrong so you can do this right. Now, the reason why we got denied with SB, it was a super new business, so they couldn't verify it. But the thing we did wrong is, forget SB. American Express will give you 4 business credit cards. So they give you 4 business credit cards with just one hard inquiry. So biz cards, right? So I only had got one. I got the 0% interest, which the blue business. I got the blue business cash. So I had got the blue biz cash, and then I stopped. I didn't realize that I could go get three more cars with that same hard inquiry with no issue. So I could have got the Blue Business Plus, I could have got the Amex Gold, and I could have got the Amex Platinum all the same time. I got them later down the line, but this is just showing you some of the mistakes that we made. So when you're in your funding journey, you could do them correctly from the start. All right, some of the other banks that we went to, and drop some stuff in the comments. Let me know where you guys have gone so far to get approved. Let me know if you guys have been getting denied. Let me know if this is a helpful video. That way I can keep making content like this, showing you guys how you can get your business approved. So all right, we're at three banks. We're at Chase, Bank of America, Amex, but it doesn't stop there. So I also went to Elon Banks. So one of the banks, Elon is a underwriter. So Elon Financial, right? So one of the Elon Financial banks that I went to was called Umpqua. So this bank is only on the West Coast. So I was not able to go here with SB. I was only able to go here with PA, right? So for this business, we were able to get approved for, I think, just 3,000. Yep, just 3,000 here. Still, I'll take it. I'm not mad at an extra 3,000. So now we add that 3K here. And this is just one of my first rounds. So this is everything that I did within a 30-day window. So, all right, after we went to Umpqua, I went to another bank. It was GM, kind of like GM Automotive. They have a nice business credit card. Back in the day, they did. And I was able to get one of my businesses approved, just PA. As you guys are starting to see, the business with age was getting approvals way easier than the newer business. And it's still that way. So if you got a new business, yes, you can still get approved. However, it's going to be way easier to get your business approved once it has some age. So here's another 11K we got. Perfect. So we add that here. Another 11K. And I believe we're at, what's that, 59. We're at 70,000. We're at 70,000 right now. And this is just going to 1, 2, 3, 4 banks. So we're able to get 70,000 at 0% interest with 2 LLCs, not doing a lot of this stuff correctly, guys. No business bank accounts were established. We didn't add any money to let these accounts season. We literally just started leveraging bankers and start applying. So it's good if you got bankers, but that's only one part of the equation, as you guys can see. I'm not going to act like this is a total fail, because 70K at 0% interest is still a lot of money for somebody who's growing their brand, and maybe you don't have anything. So that's 70K. That's what I believe. I'm trying to think, is there any more banks? Oh, yes. There's another bank, US Bank. So we also went to US Bank in the first round as well. So US Bank, they denied SB the first time, and I got approved for PA for 25K. For 25K here. So now we're at 70K plus 25K. That's 95K so far. So we got 95K. We haven't gotten approved at every single bank. We haven't gotten all large limits, but we're still pretty much at that 6-figure mark when it comes to funding, right? So this is what I was able to do with just 2 LLCs, one brand new one, and then one of the ones that was aged. Remember, we didn't have to show any revenue, no proof of income, any of that stuff. All we had to do was follow this blueprint, which is find banks that pull from each bureau. Umpqua, they pulled TransUnion. Amex, they pulled Experian. Bank of America pulled TransUnion. Chase pulled Experian. So we just had to make sure we were going to different banks that were going to pull different bureaus, so we didn't get a bunch of inquiries on just one of them, right? So this is what we did in our first round. And all I did is I repeated this process. So we did this in 30 days. We're able to get 95K in funding. And this is when it starts to get spooky, right? I don't want to bore you guys, but I think you're starting to get the idea, right? So now we got 95K in funding. The dope thing about this now is I could take some of this funding and I can invest it now into getting more funding. And that's exactly what I did. So I took out of this 95K, I did something where I spent 5K on an aged business because I saw how easy it was for my aged LLC to get funding. So I wanted to get more funding. So I knew that I didn't want to wait 2 years for my SB business to get 2 years. So I said, how can I cheat the line? How can I skip the line? So I bought an age core from somebody at 5K back in the day. You could get it for cheaper now, but that's just at the time that was the price. And then this business, let's call this one FA. So this business was a 5-year-old corp out of Louisiana. Then I started getting this business funded. So I paid the 5K and now I had a better strategy. So I started to improve every time I learned. So if this is a long video, make sure you watch to the end because I'm really dropping some gems, right? So now one of the first banks that I went to was Truist Bank. Truist Bank. The difference between then and now is I opened up a business bank account with them first. So I opened an account. And I was able to get approved for 25,000. I got 25,000 from Truist first try. So if we add that there, now we're at 120,000 in funding. I did fund this account. So I funded this account with 2K. So I just liquidated some of my funding here, put it in the bank account, showed them that I was serious, and then I applied with a banker, and I was able to get approved for 25,000. Truist pulls Equifax. So after we left Truist, we went back to Chase. And this time I was able to get 40K for another business. I was able to get 40K, same thing. I opened an account. A business account, and I put 2,000 in there too. So now I put 2,000 in Truist, I put 2,000 in here, and I was able to get 25K from Truist, and I was able to get 40K. So now we just got 65K from two banks after purchasing something for 5K. So what's that? It's 95K plus 65K. So we're at 160K. So I hope you guys are starting to see the importance of having aged businesses. Because when you have that aged business and that good credit report, it's going to be easy to get those high limits. But when you got a new business, a kind of janky credit report where you don't really have the high limits that banks want to see, now you're going to kind of get those 3K limits, those 5K limits, those limits where you feel like, yo, they playing with me. Ain't no way everybody online getting these kind of limits, but I'm stuck getting super low limits, right? It's all strategy, guys. It's not hope. It's not prayer. Yeah, you could do those things, but you want to also make sure that you're backing them up with the right strategy. And that's what we're doing here. So we went to Truist, we opened the account, deposited money. We went to Chase, we opened the account, we deposited money. Where else did we go? I wish I had my wallet in here. It'd be a lot easier to remember. Oh yeah, another thing we did, we went back to US Bank with this business now. Because the dope thing about having multiple businesses, guys, is each business is treated on its own. So now I was able to go to US Bank and we were able to get another 20K. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't open a bank account with US Bank because I was already using my other credit cards a lot. So I knew I had an established relationship. And there's no US banks where I live. So I would have kind of tried to do it online, but I kept running into issues. So I just say, you know what, I'll just use the banker that I would use, and we were still able to hit for 20K. So one thing I noticed with US Bank, they love old businesses. So there are some banks that will still give you high limits like Truist. Truist will still give you 25K with a new business. But US Bank, if your business is older than 2 years, that's when those higher limits are going to really start to pop out. So we got another 20K here. Now we're at 180K. So if you guys are noticing, all I did it's a repeated pattern. I went back to some of the same banks that already approved me, and I asked for more funding. I've already been using the cards correctly. I've already been using them fine. So why wouldn't I go back, say, hey, I have another business. Would you mind funding it? That's how simple this can be. So that's why I always say, don't burn any bridges. Don't do these banks dirty, because you should have a long-term mindset with these banks, because the more you're utilizing your funding, the more you're paying them back, they're going to keep giving you more funding so you can keep growing your business at a faster rate. So don't be in such of a rush when it comes to getting funding to the point where you're not really building these relationships, because you should be building this business for years. You shouldn't have a today, gone tomorrow mindset. So leverage these tools that I'm telling you, so you could go get your first 6 figures in funding, your next 6 figures in funding, right? So I'll go back and show you guys a few more banks that I've gotten funding from, so you can go repeat this process. So now we're at 180,000 in funding, literally just from going to a few banks and going back to those banks with more businesses after treating the first round of funding that they gave me correctly. So by this time, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to get funding every day, even every month. I'm going to get it when I need it. So every day I'm not getting funded. Every month I'm not getting funded. So after this round of funding, I'm not going to lie, 180,000 for what I do is a lot. I do online marketing. All I'm doing is running ads, paying to get on podcasts, improving my setup. So I'm not really spending a lot of money to grow my business, like maybe somebody who has a brick and mortar, somebody who's a real estate investor, somebody who's doing a lot of things that cost you a lot of money up front. Those aren't the business models. So once I got my first 65,000 in funding, what I did was I waited. My bad, y'all. My dog's in here. I don't know why he's in here. But I waited. So I didn't go into the next round immediately. I waited a few months. And then once I got more funding, I used it and I waited a few months. So that's by the time that happened, guys, SB was now 2 years old. So now this business is older. So now it's being treated with way more respect, because now the banks are looking at it with, oh, this business lasts. Oh, it didn't fail, because they know that 82% of small businesses fail within the first 2 to 3 years. And SB wasn't that type of a business. So now all I did again was I went back to Chase, because we don't realize that Chase has multiple business credit cards and you can get multiple cards for your business. So they have 2 business credit cards at 0% interest. They have the Ink Unlimited and the Ink Cash. So you could get each one of those cards for your business. And Chase specifically will give you up to 150,000 before they ask you to see any docs. So I went back to Chase, because remember, they only gave me 10,000 for SB. So I went back to Chase, applied for the other card that I didn't have, and I was able to get 20K. So now I got 30K for SB, and then if we add that to the total funding, now we're at 200K. So if we add that to the 180, we're at 200,000. So I hope you guys are realizing you don't got to keep finding new banks to give you more funding. You just go back to the places that already treated you well. So another place that I went with SB, I went back to US Bank. So now my business, instead of getting denied, now we got approved. So now we got approved for 15,000 from US Bank. So we went from a denial to an approval. So now we got 15K. So if we add that up, boom. Next bank we went back to, Bank of America. And I primarily, was banking with them at the time, so they seen a lot of my transactions. So what did we do? We got another 19,000 from Bank of America with SB. So now we add that 19. And then what do we do next? I'm telling you guys, this is literally a cheat code nobody's talking about. Then we went back to American Express. Oh, my pen's starting. It's like I'm writing so much, guys, giving out so much gems. My pen's like, hey, that's enough. My pen's like, hey, that's enough. Hold on, let's see if I can get it to work again. Oh, there it is. But as you guys can see, pen's not working. But we got another 20K from American Express, 21,000 to be exact. Let me see if I can get this thing working. They say you have drawn too much, brother. All right, let's see. All right, guys. So my pen's starting to act up, but you guys are starting to get the point. First, I got funded, treated the funding correctly, got other businesses funded, treated the funding correctly, got more businesses funded by those same banks, and then I kept stacking. Every once in a while, I'll find a new bank that I've never gone to before and get a little bit of funding. But the primary place that I'm getting my funding from is the banks that I've built a relationship with. So if you're watching this video and you've made it to the end and you're like, how can I get funding for my business? One of the best resources that you can go to is Bank Branch Locator. Put your zip code in the search bar, see some of the banks that pop up in a 5, 10, 15-mile radius, and start opening up business bank accounts with them and showing them you're serious. Now, one thing I would recommend before you start building a relationship with the bank, see if they offer products that can benefit you. See if they got 0% interest. See if they got lines of credit. See if they got personal loans. You don't just want to start putting your money somewhere and hope that it will come back. No, you want to strategically build these relationships. So if you found this video helpful, make sure you leave a comment below. I do read all of those comments. I have nothing else to do but help you guys and, grow this channel. And if this video was helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe so we can keep putting more videos out like this and helping more people so they can get the funding that their business needs so they can take it to the next level. So I'm Zaki. Appreciate you guys for watching the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.